dust, and water, camouflaging them, making them undetectable to the naked eye. We therefore suspect that in the summer months when the asphalt was particularly sticky, unsuspecting animals would wander into these seeps and become hopelessly stuck. Who were these animals? What did they look like? Let's take a look. I see a short-faced bear, a direwolf, a saber-toothed cat, a teratorn, that vulture-looking bird, and a Shasta ground sloth. Now these are just a few examples of extinct animals whose bones we found in deposits around the museum. As you can see, these skeletons are incomplete, so we need to fill in those gaps. I'll demonstrate how we do that with the saber-toothed cat up there on top. You're now looking at the partial skeleton of an adult Smilodon fatalis. This closely resembles remains that we found in one of the crates. Fortunately, over the years, we've dug up the remains of over 2,000 Smilodons, so we've got a lot of spare parts to choose from when filling in those gaps. Once that's done, we look at the condition of the skeleton, which gives us clues as to how this animal lived, hunted, and died. This is the skeleton key that opens our imaginations, and it's here in our minds that these creatures truly appear to come back to life. Based on its skeleton, we can deduce that the average Smilodon fatalis weighed around 500 pounds and was approximately the same size of a modern-day African lion. The bones in its chest, shoulders, and forearms were very powerful, indicating that this animal was incredibly muscular in these areas. Now, in the skeletons of older Smilodons, we consistently see indications of wear and tear in the lower lumbar region, which suggests that the cat's hunting habits might have put a lot of strain on its lower back. This evidence supports a popular theory that the Smilodon fatalis was an ambush hunter, the sort of predator that slowly stalks up on its prey or patiently waits behind an obstruction for an unsuspecting victim to wander by. Paleontologists speculate that the cat may have then grappled its prey to the ground, incapacitating the animal with its massive bulk. The cat would then deliver the death blow by biting into the victim with its formidable canines. In case you've managed to miss those somehow, the upper canine teeth are the large curved ones menacingly protruding from the upper jaw. These imposing sabers could grow to be 8 inches long. The front and back edges covered in serrations, much like the sharp little divots on a steak knife. It is therefore believed that the cat most likely sliced, not stabbed, into its prey, and then may have fallen back, probably waiting for the victim to die of shock and blood loss before moving into feast. When biting, these sabers did not provide an obstacle to the cat, since it is believed that the Smilodon fatalis could open its mouth to around 95 degrees, maybe more. Modern-day cats can only open their mouths to around 65 degrees. Nor were they an obstacle when devouring a carcass, since the cat most likely preferred the razor-sharp carnassial teeth in the side of its mouth. This cat hunts alone, but many paleontologists theorize that the Smilodon may have lived and hunted in social groups like modern-day lion prides. So, that's the cat. What about its environment? After all, asphalt acts as a time capsule, trapping not only animals, but also aspects of the natural environment in which they lived. Preserved evidence such as trees and foliage paint a picture of an Ice Age Los Angeles slightly different from the one we know today. First of all, there were of course no buildings or freeways. The average temperature seems to have been slightly lower, the average rainfall a little less. The plant evidence shows indications of the same sagebrush scrub that we see today, but with groves of oak trees in warmer periods and groves of junipers and cooler ones. Looking in on this environment, we can begin to see the figure of a Harlan's ground sloth feasting away. It will soon begin moving towards the watering hole. It's blissfully unaware of the asphalt seep concealed beneath its path. The sloth moves in closer, sealing its own fate there. It's stuck. As panic begins to set in, the creature's struggles will intensify. The mighty beast yanks with all of its brute strength against the powerful suction force of the asphalt, and as its predicament worsens, the sloth lets loose a series of loud cries. The Smilodon slowly stalks towards the commotion, but she's not alone. These cries are ringing out like a dinner bell in the ears of every hungry predator in the vicinity. The number of carnivore bones we excavate at the page outnumber those of herbivores by nearly 9-to-1. This ratio suggests a scenario like this, in which the cries of one trapped herbivore acted as a powerful magnet, luring in many of the ravenous predators in the area. The saber-toothed cat is the first on the scene. There. It too is stuck, and it will share in the fate of its would-be prey. But let's freeze things for a moment. The scene will continue to grow and intensify with the addition of each new predator, so rather than fixate on that, let's just fast forward things a bit, settling for brief glimpses of what's to come. The saber-toothed cat and the sloth are now slumped over and permanently fastened to the asphalt seat. The entrapment event is now complete. The bones beneath the surface have begun the next phase of the long journey that will lead them back to us. While those remains exposed to the surface, the air and the elements will gradually decompose. Rainwaters help to cover the asphalt in a thin layer of sediment. Now these bones are very porous, and they slowly absorb the asphalt. Once absorbed, the asphalt fortifies the bone by preserving it, preventing decay. This process makes bones that are tens of thousands of years old appear to have only been dead for a few weeks when we dig them up. And here comes more asphalt up through the cracks. This fresh layer covers all evidence of the previous entrapment. It too gets covered, and we theorize that the weight exerted by this next wave of victims might have forced the bones and the layers beneath to break apart, mixing them together. Eventually, these scenes stacked up, one atop the other, creating the illusion of deep pits. Now, based on the volume of fossils we excavate, we know these entrapments were not an everyday occurrence. However, over the course of tens of thousands of years, they piled up, leaving the Page Museum with the most impressive collection of Ice Age fossils on the planet.